Elvina. That's right, Elvina Parker. Elvina. Thank you for the correction. I don't mind being corrected. I want to get it right. Elvina Parker and Katrina Blanchett. Did I say your name correctly?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. All right, can you do a mic one check on your microphones so we can hear you?
Hello?
I can hear you great. Is it on? Awesome. Can you speak into it so I can hear you?
Hello?
Perfect. Love it, love it. All right, so first I want to give you an opportunity just to introduce yourself and your book.
My name is Elvina Lewis Parker.
Speak into the microphone, please.
My name is Elvina Lewis Parker, and the title of my book is My Personal Battle with COVID.
Hi, everybody. My name is Katrina Blanchett, and my book is called Love in Me.
All right, I do want you to speak a little bit about what your book is about. So, yeah, it's all good, it's all good.
Sorry. My book is a poetry book with 2 testimonies on growth, love, accountability, and loss. I lost my daughter around this time last year. So Thursday will be a year from when I had her. And I had to deliver her with no heartbeat. And what I was supposed to do in 4 years, I did in the last 8 months. So I took this time to heal, took this time to pour into myself, let my poetry speak for others of how you have to value yourself, and it's okay to love somebody and to walk away from them if it's not healthy for you.
Mrs. Parker.
All right, my book is about COVID. If you're 5 years or older, everyone in this room knows there was COVID and what we all went through during that period in 2020. I developed COVID in June of 2020. I had just turned 65 years old. And so I said to my husband, I said, since we got to wear masks, we can't do certain things. In my neighborhood, I said, I want to buy me a bicycle because I had just turned 65. That would give me some exercise to do around my neighborhood. And so I did that, and then I started feeling really, really bad. And so I said to one of my girlfriends, I said, Carla, I don't feel good. And she said, well, why don't you call Doc and see if you can get an appointment to see if you have COVID. And I said, no, I don't have COVID. I said, because I've done everything that the CDC told us to do. And during that time also, the schools were closed, churches was closed. We just couldn't do anything except for go to the grocery store and stand on the circles that you had to stand on. And if someone got close to me, I would say, you know, you need to be 6 feet away from me. So anyway, I did call my doctor, and I got an appointment to take the COVID test. It was on a Friday. And then that whole week I was still feeling bad, and I had gone to one of my primary care doctors. And when I went to her, she said that my oxygen level was low. But she didn't tell me anything to do about it. So fast forward to that Friday, I went to Mayo Clinic, had the COVID test taken, and then that Saturday, but during that time, my grandson was spending summer with me. He was here with us, with my husband and myself. And so, and he likes to swim. So I said to him, wash Jemani, I need to go lay down, and I did. And so that Saturday night, around 11:30, 12 o'clock, I said to my husband, I said, I need to go to the emergency room. And our bedroom is upstairs, so he had to help me down the stairs. And so we went to the emergency room, and they admitted me at Mayo Clinic for having COVID, for having low oxygen level. And I told them, I said, I took a COVID test. I said, but I don't think I have COVID. And so they admitted me. So I told my husband, you can go home now. Because during that time, they would not let anybody into the hospital except if you were just a patient. And so he went home, and I called him the next day, and I said, they said I have COVID. how I got COVID, I have no idea. Because I hand sanitized everything in my home. Even when my husband came home, I would sanitize his hands, the doors, I did everything I thought possible. So anyway, fast forward, that Sunday morning is when I did find out I did have, I had tested positive for COVID. And so I said, well, okay, Lord. Then I started calling people, my prayer partners is what I did. And I told them, I'm in the hospital, and they said I have COVID. And I asked them to just pray. Everybody that I knew, and my husband said, who you want me to tell? And I told him, and that's what we did. We just got a band of prayer people out to pray for this situation. So anyway, the next few days, they told me, they said, if you do well, you can get out the hospital by the weekend. So I said, okay, that's fine. I think it was on a Thursday night. The doctor said I had gotten up to go to the restroom and I passed out. And all I remember them saying, Mrs. Parker, and I saw a light shine, and I'm like, I wish they would stop calling my name. It was almost like when you have a bunch of kids and they just calling you, mama, mama, mama. And so, anyway, that's the last thing I knew. And so, everything that happened after that, the doctors had to go through my husband, and he in turn told my kids. So I was in the hospital for 32 days. After that, I had to go to rehab for another 30-something days. I had to learn how to walk all over again, how to talk, how to do everything all over again during that period. So.
Wow.
Yes.
I'm glad you're here. I'm glad you're both here. Thank you for sharing your stories.
Thank you.
In our community, we deal with shame. A lot of times we don't want to tell people our business, because we've just been taught to keep it within the family. Why, to both of you, why is it important to tell this traumatic story that you've experienced? And what's the desired impact?
For me telling my story isn't just for me, it's for those who come behind me. You don't experience life traumas to keep it to yourself. It's a way of preparing you for those who are coming behind you so that you can have the strength to tell them and pour into them, like, I went through that, but look at me now. And truthfully, research says that most women who go through something that traumatic with a baby, they don't get up until 6 months to a year later. I literally had that happen on the March 5th. My birthday's March 18th. And then 2 weeks later, I met my publicist. Like, God ordainedly let me meet my publicist to be able to be in the position that I'm in now. And I'm grateful for being able to speak to you and tell you that it was purpose in that. Do I understand? Did I understand? No. But now as I look back over the last 11 months of my life, it's birthed something brand new in me that I want to share with somebody. So if you know somebody or someone struggling, or I know somebody, I have the tools now that can help them to get to the next level. Give them the support, pray with them, sit with them, and learn that you have to know your value. And sometimes God has to have something dramatic to happen to you for you to truly learn your purpose and your worth.
For me, my book is a first-hand account of the experience that I went through. It was a fight, but I had God on my side. And I could tell you, being in the hospital when I did come out of whatever I was going through, I felt the presence of God. And when I tell you I was at peace, I just had a peace that surpasses all understanding. And my family and my friends were so worried about me, but I was just at a peace. And one day I said to my husband, I said, go in my closet. I said, if I don't make it, I had brought this outfit, and I had it for about 3 years. And so I said, go in my closet, and I want you to hang it on the door for me. And I said, if I don't make it, this is what I want you to bury me in. And for COVID that I went through, and what we all went through, you all probably didn't go through what I went through. It's just, it's a documentation for our history, and what it was like for all of us to live through this global pandemic. And a lot of people were in fear. I actually had a first cousin, to die of COVID. He didn't go in the hospital for COVID, but he developed COVID while he was in there. And during that time, I was still sick, and I was unable to attend his memorial service. I know that more than 3 million people in the world died from COVID. And in the United States, I think it was over 1 million people that died from COVID. But I'm just here and thankful that God saw fit to keep me alive.
Amen. So I remember when I was working on my first book, I don't think it was a book just yet, but I put out a poetry book called Poems from My People and Me. Shout out to Nina Simone. And I was scared to read the poems. Wrote them, but I was scared, right? And my friend, Makai, he might have been drunk at the time, said, "Sis, ain't no secrets when we dead." So, and something about that was like, what am I holding on to? What am I holding on to? And like I took it as a spiritual, thing. Like, yeah, when you dead, ain't no secrets. But also at the funeral, everybody know your business. Everybody know your business, right? So release it. Release it. And so I keep that in my mind every time I'm dealing with something, and I think it's just for me, when I realize, no, it's for the world. To you both, what did you have to confront within your own healing journey? Who did you have to become in order to begin to tell your trauma, to release it?
Well, I had to first confront myself and realize that where I was, the situation I was in, it wasn't healthy for me. And I had to realize that there's no growth here. I'm stagnant. I'm not walking in purpose. I'm not doing the things that God put me on this earth to do. I'm just all out of order. Just out of order. So with all of that, it takes a toll on you, because I have a poem that's called Behind Her Eyes. When you look at me, I have an 18-year-old, a 16-year-old, a 7-year-old. I have all boys. She was my first girl. So I always said that I will be the woman to break the generation curses in our family. I will be the woman that, God, if you give me a daughter, it will start with me, with her. And truth be told, I was out of order. But we don't want to admit that we're out of order, because that, you know what that means? That means that we need to grow. That means that we need to change something. That means that something with us is broken. And we don't want to have to face that. So being able to look yourself in the mirror and say, you know what? I'm not okay. I'm not where I think I'm supposed to be, and I'm out of order, like I said. So that was a very tough thing to have to deal with. And I have boys, like I said, and I have to be a representative of the type of woman that I want them to be with or look for. I don't want them to say, well, my mama didn't nurture me, or my mama wasn't this. No, my mama was everything and more, because she prayed over us. She kept us covered. She told us the value of ourselves and made us know that we are worthy of this world. So once I started growing and healing along with this, and I became a better woman for my kids.
And for me personally, my faith was my anchor. When I was awake, I should say, I couldn't talk, I quoted scriptures in my mind, like John 3:16, all the scriptures that I like, Romans 8:28, Philippians 4:13. I can do all things through Christ. I just started quoting scriptures and praying for myself. I knew that there were other people that were praying for me, but I knew I needed to pray for myself. And on my sick bed, 1 John 1:9, if you confess your sins, he will be just to forgive you. So I wanted to make sure everything was right with me, if the Lord had said, well done.
Amen. What does healing look like beyond the book? Meaning, I'm an organizer, so I always want to see action. I want to see something happen, right? What does it look like in your life as an author? How are you bringing this to the community to heal the community?
Do what you're supposed to do, what the doctors tell you to do. Outside of what the doctors tell you, do what you should do for your own self. And for me, even to this day, I still go to, if I'm not walking right, or I still have problems on my right side. And so if I'm going on vacation or something like that, I call my doctor and say, set up me some PT appointments. And so I do physical therapy like 6 to 8 weeks or something like that to keep my strength. But at my home, I do everything I can possibly do to not fall, because I am still at risk for falling, so I have to make sure that I don't. I know the older you get, it's hard for us to mend back like a young person. I'm 70 years old, so I don't want to fall and break my little bones.
Far as me giving back to the community, I realized that I may not physically have my daughter, but I can teach these young ladies how to become women and bring back the cotillions, bring back all the things that I experienced when I was younger, the etiquette classes, the girls' retreats, and pour into them young ladies and let them know that your body's a temple in all ages and aspects, and how you can't let anyone devalue you just because they feel like they can. And pour more into yourself and make sure your cup is full and not empty up your cup for others. So for me and the community is making sure that we as women pull together and make sure that these young ladies coming, after us have the tools that they need to be able to manage this life.
For sure. I see her trying to sneak up on me. I got one more. Guys, that's one more? Okay. I'm going to take it. We're all authors in here, and you got a few people recording, so let's get these social media clips. What is your advice to someone that is afraid to tell their story, but we know what it could do for the community? What's your advice for them?
Just do it. Just do it. Because for me, I never thought about writing or being an author. I had people to say to me, Elvina, you should tell your story. And then one day I thought, maybe I should. And I'm glad I did. So I just say, just do it.
For me, the advice I would give is love yourself, trust God, know that He put you on this earth for a higher purpose, and don't be stagnant. If you have a dream, fulfill it. If you have a goal, reach it. And just be the best version of yourself always, and always trust the process. And have faith that God didn't put you through it, not to bring you, He didn't bring you to it, not to bring you through it.
That's right. That's right. All right, one more thing. Tell us where we can find you.
You can find me on TikTok, or you can find me on YouTube, because I have this thing where I started, hey my butterflies, are you ready to fly with me? And I have a butterfly logo where it has the butterflies, and it was a box with the lid on it. That represents me before my daughter, not growing, stagnant, just completely stagnant. When I birthed my daughter, the butterflies fly out the butt. That's my dreams, goals, ambition, everything that wasn't aligning with my life. And then now that I've done the work, on the back of my thing is free to fly. The butterfly becomes a whole butterfly, representing now I've done the work. Now I'm in a place that I'm meant to be in, and now I can fly freely.
So you said YouTube and TikTok.
Yes.
Katrina Blanchard.
Yes, ma'am. And I have business cards, and you can scan the QR to be able to get to my page to the YouTube and all the merchandise for butterflies as well.
Awesome. And where can I find you?
Well, for me, I'm not even on social media yet, but I think after this weekend I will be. But I can give you my email address, and it's elparker2@aol.com.
AOL. Thank you, Atlanta. It's been great. And please check me out. Check out the cover of